Good days, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Simply Honest, the show where we provide you honest impressions of the latest games with a little bit of gameplay sprinkled in. And I am your host, Nico Silverado, and today we are tackling Dragon Age The Veilguard. Now, if you are coming to see this video, you are most likely amongst the many individuals who have heard all sorts of controversy and backlash involving this iconic series. My goal here today with this video is to provide you all my personal opinions as well as various first impressions about all different aspects of this game, both in terms of action, cosmetics, and so on, and try to do my best to expand on some of the features that I've seen within this game so that way you can become an informed decision maker in regards to whether or not you believe this game is worth a buy or not. Now, to give a little bit of context for myself, I have been playing Dragon Age since the days of Origin, playing through each of the game series multiple times, and I like to personally explore both sides of the story in terms of male characters, female characters, and incorporating the different sexuality options in order to romance every different character, in order to have a bit of fun with the entirety of the game and what they had written and created. Now, for context in regards to Dragon Age Veilguard, I myself did not receive a review copy of this game, so this will come as a bit of a late addition to the reviews that have already surfaced. And many people who seem to be currently seeking the reviews of this game have been hearing a lot of horror stories, a lot of issues, and a lot of heavily biased sort of information in regards to this series. And my goal is to try to provide you personal opinion without getting too emotional about certain aspects of the game. Dragon Age Veilguard takes place just after the events of Dragon Age Inquisition, bringing back major characters like Varric and Solus, incorporating his story in the aftermath of Inquisition. Now, without getting too much into spoilers, it brings into one of my first initial things I want to talk about in regards to this game itself. With any new player joining into a game like Dragon Age, you'll have many players who have never really understood the previous story, the lore, in regards to the world building. And this, of course, can be solved with a small lore video or choosing to read the various codexes that are involved in the game itself. But of course, not every gamer is inclined to wanting to read or figure out that much in regards to this. So in my personal opinion, the inclusion of something like a recap video or something that could help give a synopsis of what has happened in the game's past, more specifically a small synopsis about what happened during the time of Dragon Age Inquisition. Another major talking point that I wanted to get into in regards to what Dragon Age Veilguard has provided for the players now is the new changes in regards to the challenge level and the redesigns that I've seen within the game itself. Dragon Age Veilguard has taken an opportunity to redesign a lot of its core elements in terms of combat, general complexity, in order to deliver what I would consider as a more level playing field, allowing for more players to engage within the story itself without implementing a strange skill gap. A fine example of this would be how the combat has changed to become a more player-focused style versus fighting to keeping all of your teammates alive and yourself, and I'm going to try my best to expand on that here shortly. But the game has made a very large push in order to give more casual players a fun access to the combat that is Dragon Age. Dragon Age in Games Pass has always found fun and inventive ways to incorporate combat, and with each new addition to the series, a new twist to the beloved combat system arises. With games such as Dragon Age Inquisition, we were put into a more involved style of command as you had to maintain not only your own HP and mana, but also the active positioning of your NPCs with the bird's eye view feature of the game. Dragon Age Veilguard seems to have taken combat to a more relaxed manner, giving players a more simplified style of combat compared to the previous games. Now, personally, the new combat system came as a very curious development as I felt that this change was very different to what Dragon Age was known for and made their game similar to a more of a roguelike style game. Another point of combat I felt was interesting was how the game has made combat more just about the main player. During gameplay, I seem to have noticed that my party was seemingly immortal and almost never died, and they could seem to be remaining in combat indefinitely, making you as the player one of the only people with an HP bar. Whether or not this could lead to a game exploit, I have no idea, but gamers tend to be very inventive when they try. Combat has changed to where you are not able to become a different character and play as different classes now. Each NPC seems to have their own form of unique movements, unique combat skills that allow you to make fun combo spells. However, for myself, I personally enjoyed the ability to have my main character be a mage, but then I get the opportunity to play as a sword and shield tank by simply swapping to a different person. The loss of this seems to have taken away a part of what I felt Dragon Age was unique and well known for. But at the same time, I see this as a way to remove the complexity of combat for newer and more casual players, allowing people to still feel powerful without the distraction of too many elements built into the core game. A key detail that I think many people are talking about in Dragon Age Veilguard is its new form of accessibility in both creative freedom and the way that players are able to represent themselves in the game. The game has now created a way to offer a wide variety of cosmetic items for players to make their characters however they wish, and it's obviously no secret that this game has various inclusivity options as well as moments within the game itself between your character and various party members. Now, this topic has led to many people dividing into two various forms of opinions. One set of opinions is that many people believe that the sudden and heavy involvement of inclusivity has turned the writing sour and robbed the initial game of its beauty due to how much the developers have chosen to focus on these aspects. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, it is claimed that Dragon Age has needed this for a long time coming and that they should have incorporated these choices from earlier titles. Dragon Age obviously is no stranger to this, and many past characters share different sexualities and preferences. And of course, this is a more case-by-case basis depending on who you're talking to about this particular topic. Two major examples that have sparked some degree of attention in regards to this topic are, for example, an early game item that allows the player to choose if they wish to become transgender, and another moment in the game where you have a very seemingly tense and awkward conversation as a party member comes out to their parent figures as non-binary, leading to a very tense and awkward cutscene. The game allows for choice in regards to how our characters act and identifies, and allows for many people the creative freedom that Dragon Age is very well known for as a game. You are never forced to become something that you don't wish to be your character to be, and that is something that I do respect Dragon Age for in regards to allowing players to have a fair amount of choice, no matter what it is, in regards to your creation of your character and how you choose to interact with the story. Dragon Age Veilguard has taken a rough start with what it has received from the initial community, certainly giving itself a very large boost in both positive and negative press. And I hope that with this newfound change in positive and negative reviews, I really like to hope to see the company and the series itself move forward with new narratives and hopefully find ways to give more users confidence in what BioWare has the ability to produce in terms of games. I, however, do see Vanguard receiving a lot of praise for their content and creative decisions, and I personally hope that we don't see cosmetic DLCs for the game itself, as I personally would like to see more productive forms of DLC, such as side stories or even potentially a co-op feature. Some of my final thoughts that I would like to give out in regards to Dragon Age Veilguard is that the game itself is a very visually stunning product. The character creation is beautiful, and the characters that we get to work with and interact with have gone in a very different direction than what I feel BioWare has provided in the past. This, of course, has created a lot of ways for new players to jump into BioWare and jump into the Dragon Age series with open arms, allowing them a more eased-in introduction into the series, and hopefully the inspiration to check out previous titles in order to greater expand the lore and greater expand the experience of Dragon Age itself. I do, however, feel that this game did detach from the original concept of past games and gave us a slightly different experience, and have chosen to use the name of Dragon Age in order to carry the initial hype. This could, of course, be compared to how Mass Effect Andromeda had a very similar reception from the community. Of course, Mass Effect Andromeda having what I would like to call a very unfinished and heavy performance issue during its first initial launches. Had this game chosen to support a different IP from the original series, this game, I feel, would have been seen in a different perspective and above all viewed very differently. The changes within the game's core combat and strategy has given off a feeling of being slightly too different than what most fans are used to. However, in contrast to that statement, I believe this game does allow for more players of different varieties and styles to jump into the game and allowing all skill levels to find entertainment within this series. As we end the video here, I heavily encourage you all to watch full Let's Play videos or even buy the game for yourself, as this game does have a lot of worthwhile qualities to it. No matter where you go, people will find a way to either highlight only the negatives, glazing on the positives only, and it's truthfully your responsibility as a gamer to be properly informed before you choose to dive into a new series like this. And I personally hope that I was able to provide some degree of information for you and to give you all a fair, moderately balanced sense of information for the game. And of course, let me know down in the comment section how you felt about this review. If you are interested in another Simply Honest review video, please let me know down a game that you think I should review and try to provide some degree of insight for. Thank you for watching. I have been your host, Nico Silverado, and we'll see you guys all on the next video.